Know that that's one of the biggest energy savers is a variable speed pump. How does a homeowner know what they have and if they should replace it? And can you kind of get into what the differences are and why it saves energy?
Yeah, definitely. So every pool pump's got a horsepower rating, anywhere from a half a horse to two horse on the high side. And there's even some 3 horsepower pumps out there. And the bigger the pump is, the more energy it draws. So for example, if you take a 2 horsepower pump, that thing consumes about 2,400 watts of electricity. So to give you an idea of what that looks like, it's about 24 100-watt light bulbs lit up at the same time. So we can take that pump and we can replace it with the variable speed pool pump, and we can have different speed adjustments. So we can operate that for the filtration cycle, and we can go from 2,400 watts to, get this, 300 watts. And that is money in the bank. Now, when you do that, you also lose some flow, but we can program it so that you can get the flow when you need it, but pay less for it.
So these variable speed pool pumps, they're an advantage because the old ones run constantly, I guess, at the same speed, or?
No, a typical pool pump will run between 4 and 7 hours this time of year. And when it's running at that duration, it's really just consuming a lot of electricity.
And it's one speed, right, on the old ones where
You get one speed, yeah, definitely. And with the variable speed pool pump, you can adjust the speeds for the demand that you want. So for example, if you have a 2 horsepower pump that, let's say, does 86 gallons a minute, and you install a variable speed pool pump, now you're at 30 or 40 gallons a minute. We can actually run them twice as long to get the same flow turnover rate at a fraction of the cost.
So you're drawing less power in the
Definitely.
variable speed pumps.
Drawing way less power. With the variable speed pool pumps, I want to kind of get back to that because the typical savings that we get, that our customers tell us, is typically between $50 and $75 a month, each and every month. And that's the one thing that you can spend on your pool equipment that's going to save you money right away. And we have customers that tell us they've saved over $100 a month in some scenarios, but typically 50 to 75 is a good average.
But even that's good. That's great.
it is, and it's not an expensive cost. You know, it's not expensive to change it out, and it's a pretty quick, installation, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. And one thing that you have to keep in mind is that all pumps are not created equal, and pools are like snowflakes, believe it or not. So when we go to install a pool pump, we really have to evaluate the system. Do you have a spa? Do you have solar heat? Do you have automation? What kind of automation? How old is it? Do you have to bring it up to date? So there's a lot that goes into consideration before we just put a pump in. So we really put a lot of time into evaluating and advising